For the last decade, I've done everything myself. I've produced the beats, I've written the songs, engineered the records, even made my own cover arts and booked my own shows. And if I could go back in time and talk to that 16-year-old kid just starting out in his bedroom in Pennsylvania, there are 5 truths that I would tell him that would have saved him years of pain and frustration. Those truths are what this video is all about. Number 1, your ears are more important than your gear. Your ears are more important than your gear. One of the mistakes I made was obsessing over expensive gear and thinking that was gonna be the solution for me, when at the end of the day, it's really just my taste that had to catch up, my ears. I wish I would have spent less money in the beginning on gear that just sits now and collects dust, and I would have just invested more time into practicing and learning the things that actually became indispensable throughout my career. Because at the end of the day, you can work on a song for 5 years and it's always gonna be that original song. You're always gonna have those original vocal stems, the original instrumental, and at the end of the day, I really just needed to practice more. You know, just make more shit. Number two, and arguably one of the most important, you are a business, not just an artist. So you have a responsibility to yourself for how you invest your money. Obviously, you have to pull enough aside for Uncle Sam to get his cut. One of the things I'm grateful for as well is I worked a full-time job for 10 years. Like the whole 10 years I recently just actually quit my job, so that's fucking amazing. But I was able to build this business on the side while I was working another job, and that afforded me the ability to learn careers in sales and marketing and even cooking and customer service. And so many of those things are applicable today, especially today, to my business. And I notice it throughout. I just notice it every single day. There's something that I'm doing where I'm so glad I had an old job 5 years ago to teach me what I am actually putting into effect today. And it just gave me the training from million-dollar companies, billion-dollar companies, compared to having to figure it out myself. So even though I complained about working a job, I am grateful for that because it allowed me to get to the point to where I could treat it like a business. Because you're gonna be doing everything in the beginning, especially if you don't have a team. Most people don't. You have to build a little bit of momentum to even garner a team in the first place, unless you're fucking incredible, and then this doesn't even really apply to you. But you have to be okay with doing everything yourself for 10 years and learning it and loving it. And some of the things that I taught myself out of necessity ended up being one of my favorite parts of the process, like producing instrumentals and making beats. I taught myself how to make beats because I started as an artist and I couldn't find anybody who wanted to work with me because I was a nobody. My music was ass. So it was just like, all right, well, I'll do it myself then. And 10 years later, here we are. But with that being said, you have to learn how to market yourself. You have to be able to talk to people. I'm an introvert, and yes, I'm talking to the camera right now, but I'm quiet as fuck. I don't like to talk to people. I avoid talking to as many people as possible. This is a learned skill. So don't think that if you're an introvert and you don't like doing it, you're not able to learn and figure it out. You can. I guarantee you can. So, yeah. Truth number 3, loneliness is part of the process. People aren't gonna fuck with you until everybody else fucks with you. You have to be okay with being tunnel vision on your fucking craft for 10 years without anything happening, and it's gonna be lonely. It's gonna be lonely. And it's like that in every single creative avenue, whether it's music or art or you're starting a business in general. It's just like you're gonna have a lot of time. You're gonna have a lot of time where it's lonely. I remember passing on going out with my friends almost every single night. Like I can count on one hand how many times I've been out to a bar or out partying, and that's just my preference. But I also knew I had to make that sacrifice. There's also detriments in terms of what it does to relationships around you, man. It's a very real thing because you're sacrificing everything to get this one thing. It's opportunity cost. If you're spending all this time making music and you're not investing all this time in your relationships, eventually it supersedes and then it collapses, So thankfully I'm at the place now where I'm married. I'm in a happy relationship, and I've learned to the point where I know how to balance it better. Because yeah, man, there's so many times where you're doubting everything. You know, I put out records. I think it was like my 54th, 56th song was Sirens. That was the first one that actually got some traction and started to grow, and you know, my first hit, technically, the one that really connects and easier to market, and it's like just a beast of its own at this point because of the work I put into it to grow it and get it to people, to get them to hear it in the first place. But man, that's 54 months. You know, it's 54 months of just like relentless releases and posting about it, and nobody giving a fuck or pretending to give a shit because they're only gonna fucking actually care once there's a little cloud and it's cool to care about you. And there's gonna be people who come back into your life. I've had old bullies in high school hit me up for business advice. I've had old family members who only jump on the bandwagon once they see that my Facebook hit 50K followers or whatever the fuck it is, man. People, they're gonna play pretend, and you have to do this for yourself. You have to be okay with something collapsing and somebody spitting in your face and they were lying to you the entire fucking time, but now that they think they can use you for a little bit of a come up, then they're investing the time and energy into you. And maybe that's just like my trust issues coming out into play, but the music business is, you can't be too careful. You can't be too careful. And especially when it comes to growing your community and setting the standards, you set the tone. You set the tone, you know? So are you gonna have a community where everybody loves and supports each other, and it's nurturing and it's kind and it's valuable and they respect your boundaries as well as their own? Or are you gonna take the quick bag and they're all gonna be talking shit to each other and fucking hating their lives and not feeling safe? And you have a responsibility. You have a responsibility not only to everyone else, but especially yourself. Especially yourself. You're setting the tone. You're setting the tone for what it's gonna look like in 10 years for you. And now that I'm 26, that's definitely something I wish I would have known in the beginning, because it fucked me up, man. It fucked me up. I've gone through a lot of shit. I've changed so much as a person just in that 10 years. So much has changed. I've grown up. I've come into my own, and I'm really only just getting started. So, yeah. Number 4, numero cuatro, motherfuckers. Consistency beats talent. I've seen so many people who have quit and who haven't gotten to the point of actually flourishing, or even maybe they were talented in the beginning and they just gave up because they weren't getting clout fast enough, or some people who were finally starting to get good and they gave up before that breaking point. And I'm here to tell you that my success and my results, my skill and learned talent, like obviously I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing with this shit half the time. Like if you say anything other than that, you're lying to yourself. But like I'm just a channel for this shit. It's not up to me. You know, all I can do is show up. So if you show up every single day, you're gonna beat the motherfucker and outwork the person who's talented and thinks that they don't have to show up to the studio, because you're gonna make those 1,000 songs that are gonna actually get you to the point you need to be, because they're not gonna make 100. The only reason I've gotten to this point is because I haven't given up. I haven't quit. And I say that all the fucking time. One of the things I say, finish is better than perfect. That's huge. It has been invaluable in terms of just like finishing a song, getting it out, moving on to the next one. You can't polish a turd. Yeah, and I just didn't quit. That's the only difference. You know, you only lose if you give up. And I just didn't give up. I'm never gonna give up. Somebody's gonna have to fucking blow my brains out, get me to quit up in this bitch. I truly believe that to my core. Consistency beats talent. I released a song every 4 weeks, even if it flopped, and they did most of the time. It flopped for fucking 30 months or whatever it was until something actually happened. And that was with relentless content and marketing and trying everything and it not working. And really only recently has the content, like the short form content, started working, and I've really started to gain an understanding of what to do and what is authentic to me and how to navigate getting the music out to people. Only recently, man. And I took fucking, 800 videos on TikTok? Probably more than that. Truth number 5. Cinco. Your story is your brand. Your music is only half the battle. Your struggles, your story, where you came from, what you believe in. You have to stand for something. Especially nowadays where there's so much fluff. You have to know what you believe in and know what you stand for. And as long as you do, there's going to be people out there who benefit from it, because you're speaking your truth. And that's all I've ever done, is just spoken my truth and spoken from my soul and, my own shit that I've gone through, and I've just treated it like a therapy session. What do I need to feel better about? I'm going into the studio, I'm here now, this makes me feel this way. Let me compliment that. You know what I mean? Let me see what I can do with this feeling and what the song is telling me and what it needs from me. Let me do my best to tell that story from my perspective, my point of view. And as long as you're never ripping from somebody else's story or somebody else's truth, you'll be good. You'll be good. You'll always be fucking good. Let's see if I fucking... Because nobody can take your truth away from you. Nobody can take your story and say that it's not what it was. You're the only person who knows what you've been through and what you've gotten through up until this point. So you have to tell your story. In any way possible, you have to tell your story. And that's my advice after 10 years in the trenches. I truly hope that was valuable for you. I want to end this by officially kicking off the next chapter of this channel, built on 3 core pillars. Pillar number 1, the journey. We'll have more honest talks about the mindset, the struggles, and the daily reality of being an artist. Just like the video you watched today. Pillar number 2, the process. These are the deep dive tutorials where I'll show you my exact workflow for producing, mixing, and marketing my music. The real how-to stuff. Pillar number 3, the community. This is where we connect directly. We'll do live listening sessions for your music, deep dive Q&As, and build this thing together. Everything we do here, the journey, the process, and the community, is meant to fuel our own art, mine and yours. So if you're ready for this, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on. And my question for you is, what pillar are you most excited about? Let me know down in the comments, because your feedback will literally shape what videos I make next. All right, let's get to work.